Hello, students and viewers. So, today I'm going to talk the last point of this chapter, chapter number 3, that is seed treatment, methods of protection, and control. So, now see here, let me take pen. So, here seed health is very, very important. Okay, so it's important attribute of quality seed. A seed lot that meets high standard of germination, vigor, and purity, but if it is contaminated with seed-borne pathogen, it may be useless for farmers, right? Yes, they maybe have the high standards of germination. It may be have the germination speed. It may be a pure seeds, but if it is contaminated with the seed-borne pathogen, then it is useless for farmers, because if such a seeds they are being sown by the farmer, then entire area uh, will be of waste only, right? So seed may be affected by viruses, bacteria, fungi, nematodes. Okay, they may be affected by these all these microorganisms, right? So seed pest and diseases of which seed is victim, that is grain weevils, trichoderma species, and other storage pathogens such as Aspergillus flavus. Right. So this should be distinguished from the seed-borne disease, and then we have to treat these uh, microorganisms. Now see, since the first group is easily detected and may destroy a seed lot, it is usually taken care of. So optimum storage conditions helps in suppressing this group, right? So first group of microorganism that can be easily detected and even that is easily suppressed, that the storage conditions are help to suppress this group, right? In a second group C, street treatment is one means among the other to achieve healthy seeds, right? So in a second group we have to treat those seeds so that we can achieve healthy seeds. So other methods they are also mentioned, right? In a third case, a certain group of pathogen can be controlled effectively by seed treatment. There are good pesticides available to control fungal pathogens and insects. For viruses, bacteria, and nematodes, there are still problems to be solved, right? So here we are fighting to control those nematodes, bacteria, and viruses. Yes, we have able to control some fungal pathogens and insects. Now, see, seed treatment can be carried out through application of heat, then mixing of different chemicals with the seeds. We called it as seed dressing, and this fumigation, right? Heat, chemicals, that is dressing, and fumigation. These are the three techniques which are used as a seed treatment to control seed-borne pathogens. So one by one I will discuss about this treatments. So let's start with heat, right? So heat can be applied using hot water. See, using hot water you can use or you can apply this heat to the seeds. Even hot air, this is can be used, right? Or if not, you can also use solar heat. Okay, so these three things you can use to give heat to the particular seeds. So hot water is most widely used. So it was first applied at the end of 19th century to control cereal smurts, right? Smurts. It's again a widely occurring disease to the cereal seeds. So until the introduction of systemic fungicide. So what is this systemic fungicide, students? Just concentrate on this systemic. So systemic fungicide is nothing but what? It is the chemical compound which is taken out from the plant itself. Okay, what I'm saying, that is the chemical compound which is extracted from the plant, then it is applied to the whole plant, right? So that is nothing but what? Systemic fungicide, right? So that is extracted from the plant and then it is translocated within plant system. So likewise the plant, it is going to protect from the attack of pathogen. So that is nothing but systemic fungicide. So it is introduced in year 1960, right? So water treatment, till this 1960s year, water treatment was only the way to control loose smut, right? That is the causal organism is Ustilago nuda and Ustilago tritici, right? So water was the only treatment to control these loose smut, right? So it is currently used these by the Australian quarantine authorities to control exotic pathogens. So procedure for wheat is to pre-soak the seeds for 4 to 5 hours, right? So water was only the method to control such pathogens. So next see, hot air also sometimes applied to eradicate virus from the seed, and solar heat treatment is used in countries with hot climate such as Egypt, but is being replaced by chemical treatment. Now see, second, mixing of chemicals, seed dressing, right? So this is now a standard seed treatment procedure which is used to apply different cereal seeds for example, rape seeds and cotton, right? So the wide range of chemical available is increasing. The equipment has been developed to ensure a safe and exact dosage of these chemicals. So now see which are those chemicals that has been used. So see here. So chemical may be available in different formulation. For example, it may be available in a powdery form, okay, in a dusting form, in wettable powder slurry for treatment. So in a slurry also it is available, right? Or in liquid concentrates. Getting, so in these three things it is been available. So in general, dusts are applied at the rate of approximately 2 gram per kg of seed, right? 2 gram per kg of seed. What it is applied? Dust, okay, the chemical which is present in a dust condition, and the slurries or liquids at 5 to 10 ml per kg. See, this is what? 5 to 10 ml per kg. So that is slurry or liquid that is used. So latter formulation is that are again frequently preferred over dust. So because they enable easier exact measurement. See, okay, lateral formulation means which formulation? Slurry and or liquid. Okay, that are very easy because we can measure the exact these measurement, right? So it is allow the better coating of the seeds and less hazard caused to operates by avoiding dustiness. So different admixtures may be used in dust treatment to avoid last two problems, right? So a cheap additive is 0.2% dextrine solution added at a rate of 3 to 5 ml per kg of seed, right? So likewise different additives it is been again added to it. Now see, so how you are going to select different chemicals, on the basis of what you are going to select those chemicals, right? So here see, first point, see, the pathogen contaminating the seed superficially and infecting the seedling after planting. Okay, means you have now sown the seeds and seedling is arises. Seedling may appear above the ground, right? Little seedling. So during that seedling stage, some pathogens are there which are attacking the seedlings. So pathogens like the common bunt, which is caused by Tilletia species, right? Or we can say flag smut, which is again caused by Urocystis europyri, right? So these two fungal pathogens we can control by using the chemicals. Means we have to recognize which kind of fungal pathogen is attacking on which particular stage of plant, right? So according to that, again, chemicals are varied. Okay, we are not using same chemical right from the seed up to the harvest condition. We have to use different chemicals at different stages and according to the pathogen condition, right? Come to the next point. Second, pathogen infecting embryo. Now see, some pathogens are there, they are infecting only embryo. In a first case, what we have seen, the pathogen which are affecting only seedling stage. In a second stage, a pathogen they are infecting embryo only. So example, take example of loose smut. Okay, so loose smut is nothing but what, you might have seen the ear heads of jawar and bajra. Okay, so jawar and bajra seeds, that is jawar and bajra, that is uppermost, topmost head. Okay, so that this ustilago is going to deteriorate that particular seeds, and it's going to uh, make the seeds loose in condition, right? And hence we are calling it as loose smut. So this can be controlled with systemic fungicide. So I have explained this what exactly this systemic fungicide is, right? So systemic fungicide is used to control these Ustilago species. Now see, next third, pathogens infecting many parts of plant. Okay, in first case what we have seen, let me change the color, seedling stage, next stage embryo, and now it is many parts of the plant, right? The pathogen which affects the many part of the plant, for example leaves, stem, pods and seeds, right? So here, which are those pathogens they are affecting? So helminthosporium is one of the fungi, helminthosporium. Then ascochyta, right? All these are from deuteromycetes fungi, right? So sorry, it is not from deutero, it is except from deutero, right? Helminthosporium and ascochyta. So these are controlled with the systemic fungicides again. Now the next, see next here, fumigation, right? So fumigation is nothing but what, you have to give a particular fumes in a storage area where the seeds are stored. So here different kind of chemicals they are used and they act as a fumigation, right? So which are those these microorganisms, which are those insects against which we are doing this fumigation? So here you can see grain weevils. Grain weevils, here you can see these are the grain weevils. See the, see here, these are the weevils which are present within the rice, right? Black color, these are the grain weevils. And even bruchids, here see, I have mentioned the peak of this bruchid events. It's so bruchid which is present in a Vigna aconitifolia, that is green moong, right? So here is again and that is Vigna unguiculata, that is nothing but savri seeds, right? So here this you can appear the small openings, that pores which are present or which are occur to the seeds. So these are the small holes, pores which are created by this bruchid insect, right? They are present within these seeds and hence they are deteriorates, they are restricted these seeds, right? So only the way to control these grain weevils and bruchid is fumigation. Hmm? So fumigation is done according to the area, and it is effective fumigation done in airtight sealing condition, right? So here airtight condition should be there in order to kill those bridges and green wavels. Now see which are those chemicals that are being used as a or that can be act as a fumigants. So two chemicals are widely used. So which are those? Phosphine. See here, phosphine and methyl bromide. These are the two. Others are also there. Others like dichloros, carbon dioxide, ethylene oxide, and hydrocyanides, hydrogen cyanide. So all these chemicals are also there, but popularly phosphine and methyl bromide it is used, right? So see, in case of phosphine, it is available in solid form, right? So active ingredient is aluminum phosphide that is mixed with aluminum carbonate and paraffin, right? So phosphine is made up of what? It is made up of this aluminum phosphide, then it is also mixed with aluminum carbonate, and it is mixed with paraffin. Okay, so altogether if you mixed all these three, the chemical is prepared, that is phosphine. Hmm? So after exposure to the atmosphere, pellet decomposes and release active substance, that is hydrogen phosphide. See, PH3, that is released by these things, okay, from pellets, right? And thus evenly distributed in the fumigated material chamber. So in a material chamber, it is going to evenly distributed, it's going to flow evenly within that area, okay? So recommended dose is half or one tablet per, see, it is half or one tablet per meter cube. That is very important. Okay, see, we can't take much of the tablets. Okay, it's again going to affect our seed, right? So there are particular doses or recommended doses are there. So according to that, we have to take the doses. Next is methyl bromide. See, so above 5.6 degrees Celsius, this methyl bromide is in gas phase. See, it is in gas phase above 5.6 degree Celsius, right? So it is available in a cylinder that is similar in that we are, those used in cooking gas, right? So in normal we are taking the gas for preparing our meal, right? So similar like of cylinder is available of methyl bromide. So this methyl bromide is odorless. See, this methyl bromide is odorless, and to detect this methyl bromide, chloropicrin is added. Which added? Chloropicrin is added to detect the leaks of this methyl bromide, right? So because the methyl bromide is 3.5 times heavier than air, care should be taken that it is properly distributed within the goods to be fumigated, right? So as it is heavier, we have to take care. The recommended dose of this methyl bromide is again 20 gram per meter cube for 24 to 48 hours. See, this is the recommended dose of this methyl bromide, right? So this is the proper usage of this methyl bromide, right? Now see equipments. Which are those equipments which are used for this uh, treatment? Okay, seed treatment. So again, gas-proof plastic sheets with at least 50 centimeter overlap, firmly pressed to the ground with sand, iron bars, or other weights are frequently used. See, okay, gas-proof plastic sheet you must have, okay, with at least 50 centimeter overlap, right? It is firmly pressed to the ground with sand, okay. So this again, sand is again should be there, Then iron bars, okay, this is again must be there. Then escapes results in reduced insecticidal effects and is hazardous to the users. So user also have should wear the face mask, hand gloves while doing these fumigation techniques. So cement floor is necessary to prevent gas escape through soil. See, so next thing which is required is cement floor. Okay, so care must be taken that fumigated area must be aerated. So this is the fumigated area, aeration must be there. So this should be done, right? See next, sanitation. Hmm. So it is necessary in seed stores to protect from insects and rodents. Okay. So what are rodents? Insects, everyone knows. Rodents are what? These are the animals. Animals like mice, rats, squirrels, hamsters, then guinea pigs. So all these mammals, they are from order Rodentia, right? So Rodentia order, the animals belonging to Rodentia, they are called as what? Rodents, right? Mice, rats, squirrels, all these. So uh, we have to protect these seeds from these insects and rodents. So what we have to do? Hmm. So from the seed, bag should either be immediately repaired or replaced with new bags to avoid spoilage in warehouse. Warehouse, the house which is used to store the seeds. They are called as what? Warehouse. Now, the all spoiled seeds should be immediately removed if it is destroyed by these rodents and insects. In addition to cleaning, the floor and walls should be sprayed with residual insecticides as often as required, right? Means we have to clean the floor, walls, and even we have to spray the residual insecticides on the walls or on the floor. So in a well maintained stored spraying once a year is satisfactory. Recommended material is DDT. So what is DDT? DDT is nothing but dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane. That is DDT. Dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane, right? And malathion. So these two, these are used as a sanitizers, right? Nowadays in a corona, what we are using? We are using different sanitizers of different companies. Okay, for sanitation of this warehouse where the seeds are present, you have to use this DDT and malathion, right? So seeds should be treated combined with the fungicide DDT. Next, dehumidification, right? So first see, we will categorize this word into two. Let me change the color. Humidification is nothing but what? Presence of water vapor in the air, that is humidity, right? Now we have to lower or we have to minimize those water vapor present in the air, right? So that process is known as dehumidification. Hmm? So making the humidity low in percentage. Okay, so that is dehumidity, or dehumidification is the process where we are minimizing the relative humidity. So here see, if the relative humidity is above 60%, okay, if the relative humidity is above the 60%, then dehumidification is necessary, because that is going to harm the seeds, right? So here which are those dehumidification which are used and which can be uh, lower this humidity, right? So here see, first is refrigeration type and adsorption type That are the two dehumidification that is used, and that is going to reduce the environmental humidity, right? So we will discuss this refrigeration type and adsorption type in detail. Now, see refrigeration type. Now see, this type of dehumidifier operates by draining warm moist air over a metal coil through which refrigerant such as freon is circulated, right? So here means you have this refrigerant, that is freon, and on which the metal coil is present. And what is the main function of this pheron is it is going to release the warm moist air, and once this moist air is released, what will happen? It will absorb the humidity, it will absorb the water vapor present within that particular area, right? So apart from the atmospheric moisture condenses on this cooling coil and is collected in a pan of a bucket, right? So whatever the moisture which is present in the air, that is been collected where? In a pan of bucket. Now, cooled air coming from the coil which has low temperature and high relative humidity. Okay, see here. Cooled air coming from whom? Coming from coil. So obviously cooled air, the name itself indicate what will be the temperature of it. So temperature will be very less, right? Low temperature and high relative humidity will be there. So it is going to react by condenser coil of the refrigeration system, right? So it is going to react with the condenser coil, and hence that it will be going to raise the temperature and lowers the relative humidity. Our motto is what? Our motto is, our aim is to reduce the relative humidity present in the environment or present in the environment of that stored area of that warehouse, right? So likewise, the these are the refrigeration type through which we are going to lose this relative humidity with the help of which, with the help of this pheron, right, which is present in a this which is present in refrigeration type of dehumidifier. So the water removal capacity of this system is dependent on the difference in temperature between the entering air and cooling coil, right? So between the this temperature of this entering air and cooling coil, this water removal capacity is dependent. The next is adsorption type. Adsorption. So there are two phenomenon, absorption and adsorption. So adsorption is nothing but what? The adsorption is nothing but what? On the surfaces only. It's not going to interact within. It is going to act only on the upper surface. That is nothing but what? Adsorption, right? So here see, this humidifier operates by draining moist air over solid drying agent which has the ability to extract and retain moisture on its surface. See what I explained right now? Adsorption on its outermost surface only by a phenomenon known as adsorption, right? So air is filtered and dried to very low dew point in this process, and desiccant is periodically generated by means of heated outside air which vaporize the moisture, dispels it to outside of the conditioner space. So continuous operation of these machines is achieved by using two desiccant belts which switch back and forth automatically. Okay. So here two desiccant belts are operated here in this adsorption type. So desiccant humidifies they provide maximum efficiency at low temperature and are able to maintain constant relative humidities, right? So likewise, with the help of this adsorption type, we are going to minimize the relative humidity, right? So use of either type of dehumidification results in heat built in a well insulated room. This is as much as 20 degrees Celsius above the outside temperature. So for dehumidification, either solid or liquid spray desiccants can be used, right? So common solid desiccants are, see, silica gel, activated alumina. So these are common solid desiccants. Both are non-toxic. It is reasonably indestructible. It's very cheap and efficient, right? So apart from this refrigeration and adsorption type, here liquid spray, solid or liquid spray desiccants are also used to control the seeds from the pathogens, right? The silica gel can be absorbed water up to 4% of its dry weight. Okay, means silica gel it can be able to take 4% of its weight. Then other desiccants are saturated salt solution with a low relative humidity equilibrium. Right? So apart from this saturated salt solution, it's also used. So advantage of liquid spray desiccant are air returning to storage is of uniformly low relative humidity compared with that of solid desiccant system, right? So this air is returned to that particular storage house. So that is the advantage of liquid spray as compared to solid desiccant spray system. Now see, some serious drawbacks must be considered. Now, apart from all these things, some serious drawbacks that are happen within the warehouse storehouse, right? So which are those serious drawbacks? So here you can see corrosion. Okay, so corrosion is a serious problem and care must be taken to replace this corroded part before breakdown occurs. Means in a stakes we are using these iron metals. Okay, so corrosion is occurring to that particular parts. So here we have to remove these corroded parts. Then lithium chloride is a toxic substance which we are going to use. So this again lithium chloride we have to take care if we are using this lithium chloride. Then dehumidification should be done by a reputed company. See, whatever the dehumidification I have mentioned, you have to take those dehumidification from reputed or a branded company, okay, standard company only, because that is going to affect not only the seed, because the person who is doing this particular process, right? So for that purpose we have to use, we have to take, we have to purchase this dehumidification from the reputed company. So this again the serious drawbacks you have to consider while doing this seed treatment phenomenon. So thank you very much. So likewise, this chapter number 3, it is been covered in a three parts, that is part A, part B and part 3.